Welcome to Promote, Profit, Publish. I'm your host, Juliette Clark. And I want to remind you guys before we get started today that we have a big event coming up in July. It's on July 10th, 9 a.m. Mountain Time. And it is called Your Funnel Isn't Broken, It's Empty. How to Drive Real Traffic to Your Book and Business. And I'm telling you about this. We're doing this event because we see so many of you building funnels and then not being able to drive traffic to it, which is a problem. So you can access that. You can sign up at breakthroughevents3.com. There will be a little quiz when you first get into the program because we want to find out where you're at as a reader. It's a simple 4-question survey. Love to have you fill it out and love to see you there. So once again, that's breakthroughevents3.com and that's July 10th at 9 a.m. So today's guest is someone who has put together a new program, which is pretty darn exciting, and that we wanted to share it with you. He's also going to be our trainer in August and actually show you how this program works. Our guest is Domingo Silvas. He's CEO and co-founder, and his mission is to create a calm, credible environment where serious thinkers can engage deeply with ideas, refine their thinking, and move from insight to meaningful action supported by intelligent, responsible AI. And the program we're going to talk about today is an AI program he put together. His company, Praxis, aims to become the most trusted digital space for long-form thought, a living library where human wisdom and AI collaborate to expand understanding, preserve intellectual rigor, and support lifelong learning. And I think you're going to really enjoy hearing about what he has developed. It's something that I signed up for immediately. I'm not only a partner on it and a reseller, but I also signed up for myself. I was that engaged with what he did. So stay tuned while I talk to Domingo. Domingo, welcome to the show. I'm so excited to have you here to talk about Praxis today.
Yeah, I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
So tell us a little bit of background, what you do, because I know you've been in this industry probably as long as I have, so around quite a while, but it seems like you've evolved into AI. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
I've always, one way or another, touched technology, right? On all our businesses, no matter how you look at it, technology is a big part of it. And as an entrepreneur, I've always found it fascinating how technology allows us to adapt to, the market and what we need to get in front of our clients. And AI just allowed us to move a little bit faster. And I kind of fell into it, I guess you can say, around 3 to 4 years ago, even though I've been in technology for a long time. But I realized that artificial intelligence, it's not a lot of people are afraid of it. And, they're concerned that it's here to replace us. But I looked at it, it's an augmenting tool. It allows us to do things faster. It allows us to have cleaner thoughts. It allows us to be able to create something and look at different ways of how to create something that we didn't think of. So because what I love about artificial intelligence is that it remembers everything where we have a tendency of forgetting everything.
Yeah.
And that's really how it came around over the last, 25 years as an entrepreneur. It's another tool to augment, try to help us create success.
Yes. And we use it to streamline so many things that we do as well. So it gives me time to do other things. So you have this new Praxis program out for authors. And you guys, I think I mentioned in the intro that he's going to be doing a training and actually showing us the inside of the program in August, which is really exciting. But how did you come up with that? What made you decide that was the way you wanted to go?
Oh, it's an interesting story. I first of all, I never thought I would become an author, right? It's not something that's on my bucket list. But as you go through and you got years of experience, like many of us that are listening to this now, you're like, I want to share my knowledge. I want to leave a legacy. So I started writing a book. And then about a year and a half later, still writing the book, I went to submit it to the publisher and she's like, Domingo, it's 300 pages. I go, I know. I'll add some more. She goes, no, that's it. I go, what do you mean that's it? She goes, well, no, save the rest for the next book. I'm like, it took me a year and a half to do this one book. You're telling me I have to try to figure out a second book. And I said, wait a minute, this ain't going to work for me. And so I went back to my team and I was like, what can we do to make this book become a living document? Because that's something for me, like something that adapts based on experience, and obviously AI allows us to do that. So I went back to my team, and that's how Praxis was born. It was literally born out of the, I won't call it frustration, I'll just call it opportunity, um, for my book to evolve. And I wanted something that allowed me to write my book and then add additional material to it and allow the user to have a cultivated experience. And everybody who reads the book is going to have a different purpose. They're going to have a different reaction. They're going to want different results. And by having the book become a living, literally a living document, it gives them that. And voila, Praxis was born from that.
Yeah, that's amazing. So tell us about the program because I don't know if I told you this at the time, but I don't buy any book marketing because I know how to do it on my own. And when I saw the webinar that you did for potential partners, I was like, this is cool. So how did you come up with it? And tell us about the features because I love that people can talk to you. I mean, sort of talk to you with the AI because we did the voice print. So tell us like all of the features and what you're doing with it.
Well, like everyone that's watching this is an author, right? Or thinking about becoming an author. And so
Hmm.
you start thinking, well, the book is not the end of the journey. As a matter of fact, it's way in the beginning because once you create the book, you write the book, you publish the book. Now, how do you get the book in the hands of the reader? And then what do you want the reader to do? And a lot of technology out there, when I started looking at my book being completed, I looked at the others places, and I won't name them, but you know what I'm talking about. And I was like, oh, great, I'm going to publish here. Wait a minute, I'm not going to be told who buys my book. Well, how's that going to
Yeah.
work? And then my publisher said, yeah, just put a QR code in the book or put a link or something. And I'm like, but then, that's like additional steps. And I'm like, okay, wait a minute. This is time for a revolution. It's time to change things here. So then I took my years of experience as a business strategist and a marketer, and I said, okay, let's do this. So I wanted something to add the ability to add additional material to the book. So we created with Praxis, you upload your book and now you can add interviews that you've had about the book, additional material about characters or about strategies or any other things you wanted to add to the book. The AI absorbs that information and we train the AI not to go out on the internet. It literally is a private conversation with the book and the content you provide. That was important for me. The
Hmm.
second one is now that the reader can interact with the book, I don't want them just to read it. I was just thinking, well, let's have them hear it. So the system creates an audiobook for you and you can choose the voice of the audiobook. You can use your own or you can choose some that we have preset. Now I thought that's kind of cool. And then the third one, I said, but I want the reader to interact with it. So we gave it an AI companion. And this companion allows you to type questions into the book and it answers back based on all the content you provided. So now, like if someone's stuck on chapter 4 about something of your strategy or something in your story that they missed, they can type and ask and get the answer back. And I love that. And I said, wait a minute,
Yes.
let's go further. Now I want to talk to the book. So now we added another button where you can just ask any question you want and the book talks back to you. And what's really cool is that it actually talks back, if you choose, in the author's voice. So it feels like you're having a conversation with the author. And from there, you know how it is when you're a kid in a candy store, you just want it all. So I guess the famous term is, and there's more, you know?
Uh-huh.
So I said, okay, well, now I need something to market my book. So we built 4 sample landing pages so you can convert your book to a landing page. We created a marketplace so you can market your book and people can buy it where you get up to 80% of the revenue. We created a ability for you to have immediately when someone buys your book, they're downloaded into your CRM. When people interact with your book, you get a summary of all the interactions so you know what questions are being asked of you. And then what another part that I'm so excited about is we added a marketing center where we built an AI that analyzes every bit of your book and material you provide, and it
Mhm.
gives you all the content you need to be able to market this on social media, on TikTok,
Nice.
Book Talk, LinkedIn, Instagram, and you just cut and copy it, and it just creates the content for you. And so we really started, you know, adding on more elements to this. And so this is, to me, I wanted to change the way a reader gets to interact with the book, because a book should never be static. It should be a living document. And so it gives you a chance for your book, your wisdom to have limitless impact.
Yes. And I think something that you didn't mention then that I loved is when I was putting my profile together, I could also put courses and things like that in so people could find out what else I had to sell as part of it,
That's
which I love that.
Yeah, that's a big one for me, because I wanted the reader to have a next step,
Uh,
right? And so you get to choose if you want them to book an appointment with you, if you want them to buy a course, or if you want them to potentially look at your second or third or fourth book.
mhm.
And it just needs to be able to have what's the next step. And as a person, like a lot of us who are watching this, we're experts in our field, and we use the book to market ourselves. And so imagine getting on stage now and giving them you when you leave the stage, you can give them this book. You can give them this digital version of you. They buy it, they interact with you, they're getting used to your knowledge, they're experiencing you in a certain way that makes them want to take a next step with you. And that's the
Mhm.
true power behind it. And I loved it. So, we're not done.
Yeah.
The app for the reader, woo, it's hot. I can't wait. It comes out, and so by the time many of you watch this, it'll be out by then. But it's in development right now, and you're going to be able to, um, highlight sections of the book and create a summary of the book. The AI would take all your interactions and summarize it for you. You're going to
Mhm.
be able to see how other friends of yours and where they are in chapters and do comparisons. We have a fan club being created where the author can go live and all the readers can actually interact with the author in the system. There's just so many neat little tools that are being created. And it's, like I said, I wanted the experience to be different. And I think this is exactly the way I look at it. Is this is why we wrote the book. We wrote
Mhm.
the book to make a difference in the reader, and one way or another, and today's technology allows us to do this.
Yeah, that is really cool. For those of you listening, I know you know that I've been going back. I just released fiction novels, my first ones in 15 years. Um, I want to, you guys know all the tools out there where you can capture and do book swaps. This is another way to do it and point people at those other books as well and capture that information. So, and get to hear your voice because in fiction, we always want to talk to those people. I'd love to talk to Michael McConnelly, and people like that. I just think Michael Connolly, but we don't get the opportunity to. So I think that is really cool too, even if it is kind of, you're not really talking to him, but I think that's sort of a cool thing to do as well. So tell us about you're having a bestseller on the platform as well, which I find really interesting because so many people have cheated the Amazon best-selling system that it just doesn't matter anymore. I haven't sold a bestseller package since probably August of last year when Amazon changed their algorithms. So,
Mhm.
how is that working, and what do you hope to achieve with that?
Well, there's a couple things that we did. Integrity is a big part of this. We want to make sure that we maintain the integrity of the author and the platform. So one of the features we built in for the readers is that they're able to rate your book. And once they rate your book, one, we verified that they're an actual reader. Two, that they purchased the book. Three, when they leave the rating system, it's locked. So as soon as they put a rate in, it's logged. And that's important for us because we want to get as authentic of an experience from the reader as possible. And those will
Mhm.
help you rank in our system, in our marketplace, so that people can find you and absolutely, and be able to experience you in many ways and recommend you. Another part is we've added a feature where if you are a bestseller out, let's say Amazon, New York Times, all the other ones, you have to submit to us that you are, and we have to verify that you are.
Mm,
So we have a verification process. So not anybody can say, I'm a New York best time seller and put the tag on their book. No, they actually have
mhm.
to go through our submitting process, which takes, about a week to get back to them. And then once we verified it, we'll actually put the banners up because we want to make sure that we're a marketplace where people can trust and have a good experience and not anyone can go up there. So we worked very hard to put that together.
Yeah, I love that. I actually now recommend to people that they join book awards, that they submit for awards because it is more meaningful. There's a real third party there all the time evaluating. So that takes some of that out. That is really a good thing to you to do as well. So you also mentioned a 30-day launch plan. That in place or coming soon?
It's in the staging server right now, so we're testing it. But the important thing is like once we have the book, we got to tell the world, but how do we do it? What
Hmm.
do I say about the book? How do I pull information? What parts of the information of the book should I pull to make it intriguing? So we wrote the 30-day launch plan, and we spent a lot of time on this to make sure that it actually analyzes your entire book. It actually takes a look at the entire purpose of it, and it pulls out a 30-day launch sequence that actually is quotes and images that you can post. And all you have to do is cut and copy into Instagram or cut and copy into TikTok,
Hmm.
and you'll have all your content out, social media, Meta, and that's something that makes it easier for you. So coming to our platform, what I wanted to do was make it easier for you as the author to be seen. And so because we're not all marketing experts, I get that. I just like I may be an author, but I'm not a professional author. I don't know every element of it,
Right.
but I know marketing. So I wanted to make it easier. And so it's a if I get a chance, Juliet, it's 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 more like the system is everything I would want as
Hmm.
an author to be available to me rather than having 5 to 10 different systems. Oh, I need content. Here's ChatGPT, but then ChatGPT does this hallucination. Like it doesn't
Yeah.
give me a quote that's not even in
Yeah.
my book. You
Yes.
know, and all these images, I just wanted to eliminate that. And so we actually wrote all these AIs to be able to do this, tested it, and it's exciting to have it all in one platform.
You know what it is, but I want to go back to the hallucinations for a minute because this is what I see, and you probably have too in all of this test. There's so many authors now who don't really know the industry, who don't know what they're doing. They go to ChatGPT or I use Perplexity Computer a lot. They go in there and they think they're asking the questions, but they're not really asking the right questions. That's where I think you and I talked about the perfect reader playbook. People have tried to make copy it and they can't because they're not asking the right questions. And I'm actually experiencing that myself because I'm trying to learn something right now. And I go in and I try it and I'm like, yeah, that didn't work. And I keep going back. I'm not going to say what it is that I'm experimenting with. But it does. It hallucinates and it gives you a plan, and then you go and you try to execute the plan, and it really doesn't work. And I don't know where it's getting its information from, but it's interesting to look at the plan that it's giving you and watch it fail.
You know, I speak a lot about AI, and I always explain it in this fashion. AI is a child. It's a child.
Hmm.
Just like a child, you can ask it something, it's going to tell you whatever it thinks. It doesn't have any filters,
Filters.
right? So kids say the darndest things. Well, so does AI. AI says the
Yes.
darndest thing. And I love that show, by the way. And then, so you have to train it. And just like a child, as it becomes a teenager, the more you try to teach it how to behave, it learns from it. And eventually it becomes an adult. But the thing is, that could take time.
That could
You're
take, yeah.
spending hours, you're spending days, if not weeks, trying to get the result you're looking for. And so, what's great about what we have done with the many developers that we have on our team the reason why we develop them this way is because we actually trained them. We know
Hmm.
what we want as a response. And also a lot of these AIs, they go search the internet and they come back with the most ridiculous answers. And
Yeah, they,
so and and it's just too much content. Imagine,
yeah.
imagine if you remembered in this moment, right now, this moment, you remembered everything you've ever experienced. Everything just came to your mind.
Uh-huh.
What would be your next words? You couldn't say because
Right.
imagine you learn everything, the human mind can only remember so much and it needs things to trigger a memory. But if all your memories came back at once, what would you say next? Well, you would hallucinate. Well, I remember when I was this, and well, wait a minute, but this changes this, and that's what AI does. So by us training the AI based on our experience and what we want, the response we want, that's the output we get. And so sometimes it's just easier to just get into a system that's trained for you, that does
Hmm.
the work for you and makes your life a lot easier. But I always welcome everyone. If you want to experience AI, do it on don't rely on it to be a big part of what you're trying to create. It's just best to go find a system that works for you.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that. And if you're not a marketer or you don't know the book industry, AI is not going to give you the right answers. And I just want to share something that happened. I tried one of those programs that you put a book, that it helps you write a book. And I actually had the outline, I put it in, and as we went along, I was watching it, and it kept going off outline. Like it kept going and making up its own story. And I was like, no, this is the story I want. This is how I want it. And I got so frustrated that I canceled it. But that was good for me because I get people all the time who say, well, I want AI to help me write my book. Which, first of all, you shouldn't do that because I have to answer a question when I load your book about the AI. But secondly, when I use AI for writing a book, all I use it for is the research.
Hmm.
So right now I have a book over at the editor, and he has pointed out that, hey, your research tags are still in here because I forgot to go in and take them out in some areas. But that is all you should use it for. And you should double check as well to make sure that their research is right. Because we all saw the thing, was it, which I don't want to disparage one of them, but the one that came out with Mount Rushmore had black presidents on it. Um,
Yes.
So right then, when you saw that in the news, I need to verify what AI is telling me because wrong answer.
Yeah, and it's getting better. I mean, if you guys remember your experience a year ago to today, it's always getting better because it's being trained and trained, and eventually you'll be there. But I just say leave it to the experts if you can. If you want to have
Mhm.
fun, it's great to create images. To be
It's fun.
creative and to communicate with people just to improve. I mean, trust me, I have I have Google AI in my emails, rewrite a lot of my emails because
Right.
none of them make sense from what I write, but when it rewrites it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, exactly. I do it when I'm really frustrated with something and I just want to go off on somebody. I go over and I say, write a delicate, push along email here instead of me just being bossy.
Yeah, exactly.
So, okay. So, where do we go to find out more about this product? Do you want to give us the URL?
Yeah, so it's praxisaimedia.com, and you can go there and learn more about what we're doing Praxis, or you can reach out to myself or Juliet for more information. And I think it's what I want to let everybody know is that it's not here to replace you. It's not here. The way we developed it was to contain the AI to behave within the parameters you provide. For example, one of the new features that are coming out, and you are literally the first to hear it, is we wanted to allow the writer the author, let's say you forgot something in chapter 4 and you wanted to elaborate more. So we're allowing you to go actually to insert a video or more content as an Easter egg in chapters
Mhm.
so that people can learn more about what you really meant, and I or a missed chapter. So you're able to adapt it and have the user experience be even better than what you wanted. Because that's like I said, I literally built this because I forgot some things inside my book. And so I'm really excited about it. And I know it's gonna make a difference in the place for authors. We were at the book con and we spoke to, hundreds of authors, and 90% loved it, and the 10% heard the word AI and dismissed it immediately. Did they want to know
Mhm.
anything more about it? And so it's not for everyone, but for those that are looking to get out there and be seen, this is why we developed it.
Yeah, and that is such a great point because, I do a lot of work with another vendor, and they tell me that the minute you mention AI, they want nothing to do with it as well. So you have to think of it in terms of what kind of time can the tasks be saved,
Yes.
which that's what your 30-day launch plan is doing, is now you don't have to come up with that launch plan, which you probably don't know how to put together yourself anyway. So this is a tool to assist you and save you time. You really have to look at it in that way, not that it's ever going to replace you. You can tell when you're reading an AI book. Like you
Yes.
really can. It's awful on there. So also you guys too, there's a an assessment that you can take about, are you leaving money on the table with your book? It's got a really long URL, so I'll just put it down in the show notes for you and you can grab it. Domingo, thank you so much. And I'm super excited. You guys look out for that invite to our August event, because Domingo's going to show you the inside of the program, and there'll probably be more bells and whistles by the time we get to August.
Oh, I'm sure there will be. Just let me create.
Great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.